I don't like either one of them if they're after me because I think I might get hurt. As far as who's favored, they've traded wins. Dynas is 1-1, Jacobs is 1-1, and then Jacobs has defaulted to Dynas once. So I'd say you've got a coin toss here, and we're just going to have to see who can win it. Interesting note here, Jacobs from Plainville has taken 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and he wants to hit for the cycle this year and make it 1st. Of course, Dynas has to win by more than 8 points in order for Waukegan to beat Hoxie. Hoxie has 85 points with that last victory. If Dynas wins by less than 8 points, they have a tie for 2nd place. If Dynas wins by more than 8 points, they have a half-point lead. So it's down to the wire, and that's the way it should be in the state tournament.
Phillipsburg with a state championship back in 1987. Again, 3-2-1 action for coach then Marty McCurdy. Now head coach Mike Brown at Phillipsburg. Brought a good contingency, but this guy, Big Shad Jacobs, in the finals in the state for the 4th time. Boy, I tell you, these guys, there's something special about the heavyweights. That just always makes the people ooh and ah.
What's really special is when you get a couple of heavyweights that like to wrestle. So much of the time you have trouble, the big guys, they're big and they're a little bit slow, and so they don't like to move a lot. But here you've got a couple of guys that are going to go out and go after it. And looking around the state this year at the heavyweights in all the classes, is just an excellent bunch of heavyweights in Kansas this year. I haven't really seen anybody where I'd say you gotta stall away heavyweight.
Yeah, the official talking to both coaches and
they gave Dynas a warning for stalling and thought he was backing up too much.
Well, Jacobs battled with a pulled groin so far this season.
I can see why if he's wrestling guys like this all the time.
Yeah,
that could pull a few groins.
Yeah, cranking on those muscles. These guys, the old-time type of heavyweights, just were a lot of weight, but these guys had the strength and the back up the block and some quickness too. Look at this.
Well, there was an opportunity there for Jacobs, and he wasn't able to capitalize on it, but he's going after it again, and Dynas is trying to use that headlock or something to counteract it, and he's successfully able to keep himself out of trouble.
No points gained. Again, the official might need some combat pay after that. These two big guys, again, a 275-pound weight limit set on these guys?
Yes. Jerry took a shot to the back of his left leg there. I hope he survives it. Referee there, Jerry Meyer, from back in eastern Kansas.
21 seconds left in the first period. No score. Dynas, the older brother of Lucas before, Josh, a junior, in the Golden Eagles gold, white, and purple. Jacobs from Phillipsburg in that Panther blue and gold. 4 seconds.
We got another stall call on Dynas, so we get a 1 point awarded to Jacobs. He felt like that Dynas is using his head to block and not try to wrestle. But he's not stalling now, is he? Nothing like a stalling penalty to change things a little bit.
Change the personality of this match in a hurry. Now let's see who the aggressor is. Jacobs with that 1 point has a 1-0 lead going into the second period. And I'll tell you, we said 364 matches coming to where we're at now, and this is the final match of this state tournament, folks. 1-0. Jacobs got that 1 point after a warning and then a point taken away or given to Jacobs because of stalling by the wrestler from Trigo. Dynas needs a win for Waukegan Trigo to get into second. It looks like Hoxie might have it cemented if he doesn't get that big win.
Yeah, he has to win it, and he has to win it big in order for Waukegan to have an undisputed second place. But Jacobs just stands up and turns in and gets his escape there. Now we'll see where we go from here. He's got a good single leg. If he can hang on to it and step into it and make it work. Unable to carry it all the way through.
Boy, I remember Shad Jacobs back in junior high. He was in junior high, 8th or 7th grade, just dominating people when the Panthers of Phillipsburg won that state title in '87. They had a heavyweight wrestler by the name of Dane Ulrich. Dane Ulrich. It's just a monster, and Jacobs watched him through the years. And he's had some experience, and Dynas has just really come on the scene strong. He's a 3-time state qualifier and just been doing a heck of a job.
I remember Ulrich well. I refereed him several times, and you talk about a big, powerful individual. He was.
Then, of course, one of my favorite heavyweight winners was T.J. Slansky from Stockton, a tall, slender kid that went on to play football in Nebraska. But, boy, that was a fun match to watch back then. And right now we've got the shorter statured heavyweights. But these guys, Dynas right now with a bit of a height advantage on Jacobs. Which would you rather have, a taller heavyweight or a more stout, closer to the ground guy?
I always kind of felt like the fellow who was not quite so tall probably had a little bit of an advantage, because you see with Jacobs here, he can kind of get in underneath, and of course that gives him a little bit of a leverage advantage. But of course then the tall fellow, he has a little bit more leverage from other directions, so everybody has a little bit different personal preference there. The best heavyweight I ever had was kind of tall, and he was kind of big.
It's a few pounds, huh?
Yeah, and he was just a good wrestler. And that's basically what it all comes down to. You want the one that's a good wrestler.
Boy, Jacobs right now holding on to the legs of Dynas. Again, as Fred said earlier, Dynas can get out if Jacobs stays in, and that will be an escape. But Jacobs trying to pull him in, and now he's going out of bounds.
Out of bounds, no points. Good call by the official.
Coach Mike Brown disagreeing with that. The official says no points as Jacobs kept him in. 2-0 Jacobs. Chad still with the lead over Josh Dynas.
Has to have him down on the mat and have control of him over there to get that takedown, and he didn't have him down on the mat. He didn't have full control. I think that was an excellent call by referee Jerry Meyer. Of course, that's not the first time Mike and I have disagreed on a call.
Here we talked about taking the heat or giving the heat. A former coach and former wrestler, now official. Again, Fred Scott, Mike side with us. I'm Lance Lippert, and we appreciate you tuning in to Smoky Hills Public TV. And this is State 321A Wrestling Championships from Gross Memorial Coliseum on the campus of Fort Hays State. They're going to have the National NAIA Wrestling Championships here starting next week on Thursday through Saturday. It's going to be a dandy. Some of the best in the country here in the NAIA. And there's a point as Dynas gets on the board.
That was a good job by Dynas. He got up, he got his weight down on that leg good so that he could peel it away. But here comes Jacobs. He's out of bounds again. That knee's outside the line, and that's got a takedown. You have to do it inside the boundary line. Otherwise, the mat would be the whole gym floor.
They take it all over the place. Well, these guys are looking like they're losing a little bit of energy, but they wrestled, at least started out very cautiously, as Dynas gave up a point because he was called for stalling, but they had an aggressive second period.
There's another one right there. He's got to understand he can't back up like that, especially when you've been called for it. Once that warning goes up, you've got to go forward.
These guys know each other pretty well, as we said. Maybe they know each other too well, and Dynas is trying to compensate for what he thinks Jacobs might be doing. It's 3-1 now. Jacobs out in front of the junior Dynas. Jacobs had won 3 Mid-Continent League championships before he was ousted of the MCL tournament with an injury, and the title went to Dynas. At the Panther Classic, Josh Dynas defeated Jacobs 10-6. So this a lower scoring, more conservative affair. This is the final match of this 321A state tournament. 3-1. Jacobs with the lead over Dynas. Team scores. Plainville out in front. They've got this one locked away for the team title. Hoxie, though, 85. Walkini's going to finish in third with 81 if Dynas doesn't pick up the win.
Jacobs is picking up on the stalling penalties now, and he feels like he can keep putting pressure into Dynas and possibly get another stall call. But Dynas just did a darn good arm drag there, but he can't hold it inside long enough to get the takedown.
Well, these guys have been working that edge of the circle, as we said, for quite some time. They keep heading out of bounds. Dynas shoots in for that takedown, and Jacobs flops right down on him.
Jacobs going to come back and get the takedown out of it. He's got that leg, he's got the head, he's going to go in for the cradle, and it looks to me like he's going to get the takedown if he can bring him back down to the mat.
15 seconds left in the match. 3-1
there
Jacobs.
He goes. What's the takedown?
5-1 Jacobs.
Turns Dynas loose. And Dynas goes after him in desperation. It almost worked.
Wow, he got 3 more points 3 more points in the close, but it's going to wrap it up. Jacobs picked up a 5-4 win, and he was leading 5-1, and 3 points come Dynas's way, but it's not enough. Chad Jacobs.
That's about as good a heavyweight match as we're going to see.
5-4 the final. Jacobs goes to 23-3 on the year, and I know his fans are happy about that. Jacobs, after finishing 4th as a freshman, 3rd as a sophomore, 2nd as a junior, he gets that cycle, as Fred alluded to earlier, winning 1st in the heavyweight classification. That's going to be the final match. My goodness, what a way to wrap this one up. Chad Jacobs signs his card, and he's going to be the champ at heavyweight. Again, just did a tremendous job against a tremendous wrestler in Josh Dynas. We should also mention at the heavyweight category, Milliken of St. Francis finished 3rd. Feynman of Perry Lecompton finished 4th. Cox of Belleville finished 5th. And Schmidt of Rossville finished 6th. And again, they're awarding 6 medals this year. And on the stands right now, at 189 pounds, Albert Pope of Hoxie stands atop the best. Dave Schrantz taking 2nd at 189 pounds. And there's the cheers from Hoxie for their man. As it looks right now, Coach, the Plainville Cardinals pick up their 2nd team title in the last, 4 or 5 years. They're going to finish first with 101 points, and Hoxie holds on for 2nd, 85 points, while Keeney in 3rd with 81, St. Francis 80.5, and Leota is at 73 or 78. I can't make that out.
I think it's 73.
73 points. I'd said 78 early, but they're 73 right now. Silver Lake 69, Stockton 68.5, and Caney Valley right there with 68.5. So Stockton and Caney Valley tied for 6th. Then there's Hill City at 67, Lyons next, and then Atwood with 66. So I'll tell you, it was a terrific match. The team title pretty much went into Plainville's way with that first win by Hilger, but as we said, the chase for 2nd.
That's right. That's right, and they may have trouble in Hoxie deciding who to give the Outstanding Wrestler Award to this week, whether it be their own boy wrestling at 189 or the heavyweight from Phillipsburg.
Keeping Dynas from